My name is Eugene Carl Dieibler. I served in the 101st Airborne, World War II, from November 1942 to December 1945. My rank was a sergeant. Well, I found the Army. The Army didn't find me. I had a friend of mine we were in high school with and lived in Bradford, Pennsylvania. And it was in 1942 after Pearl Harbor happened and all that. I finished school in June of '42. And I was 17 years old, so I had a friend that went to school with me. He moved to Wellsville, New York. There's a sign outside that says, "Join the U.S. Paratroopers." And we looked at each other and says, "You want to do that?" I said, "Yeah, let's do that." So we went in the administration, and the recruiting sergeant was in there recruiting paratroopers. And I said, "We want to join the paratroops." He says, "Fine." He says, "Sign right here." And I said, "Well, we just flunked our eye test for the Air Corps. What about a physical? You don't need a physical." I said, "Just sign right here." He says, "And when I get 10 more guys, I'll call you and we'll send you to Toccoa, Georgia." I was only 18 years old. I had been out of town. I went to Washington, D.C. when I was a patrol boy. I went to Chicago with the American Legion Drum and Bugle Corps in 1939. And those are the only times I was out of town. So I didn't know much about the world, you know. In Camp Toccoa, I became a corporal in 3 weeks, and he became a sergeant because they didn't have any non-coms at the time. From staff sergeant up, where cadre came in and all the officers came in. But they didn't have anybody from sergeant and lower, sergeant corporal PFCs. They didn't have any of those. So they promoted guys early so they could be training, you know. So I got to be corporal and he got to be sergeant. Then he was promoted to staff sergeant. I was promoted to sergeant. And he didn't get killed and I didn't get killed. We both went through the whole war together. Well, in Normandy, we jumped, we had a good jump in Normandy. Landed on drop zone Z and D, and we were about 2 miles from our objective. And I landed with my colonel, fortunately, in the field that he landed in. We landed in front of a 3-story, like a manor, or some scientist or something lived there. And the Germans had taken over as a German headquarters then. They had a guard on the gate, and he shot at our colonel, and the colonel was about from here to the top of the driveway, I guess. And he pulled his .45 out and killed that guy. Well, there's about 15 of us got together, and thank God we were with the colonel because he knew where he was, and we didn't have any idea where we were. We were behind enemy lines. And somebody says, "Why'd you get surrounded?" We were surrounded all the time, you know, because you couldn't land in a place in the country. They had Germans everywhere, you know. But fortunately, they had 2 Panzer divisions up at Calais, and Hitler, they wouldn't wake Hitler up because he didn't get up to about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. And they wouldn't wake him up, so they wouldn't move those Panzers without his approval. So that saved our life, really. If those Panzers had come down there, they'd have wiped us out, you know. Well, we jumped in Holland, too. That was a lot better. As far as the jump is concerned, we jumped on Sunday afternoon, September 17th, 1944, and had a beautiful jump. I mean, a lot of planes got shot down, though, but the landing was good. It was in the fields, and there was no obstacles or trees or anything like that, and so we had a good jump on Sunday.
Sergeant Dieibler has an impressive archive of World War II material to go along with his collection of first-hand stories. However, one story is especially personal.
When you jump out of a parachute, you have a reserve chute on the front. It's about this big. And if your chute doesn't open, then you can pull a ripcord and this chute, and you throw that chute out and it opens up. And that's what saves you. So, but you don't ever use it or don't pull it unless you need to. So that's what I took, and I took it off. And when I took it off, I thought, no sense of wasting that, you know. So I just took it and put it in my musette bag and took it back to England with me. I cut it in half and mailed it to her. And I didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, actually. But when I got home, she had made a wedding dress out of it. And she'd paid $15 to make the wedding dress. And some lady in Sanford, North Carolina, made it for her. And I don't know anything about it, but she told me to hem stitch all around the edge to keep it from unraveling. And it had 6 tiers in it. I think it's 5 or 6 tiers. And she had to hem stitch all around that to keep it from raveling apart. It was nylon, and the panels were about this wide, and then they'd go down to be narrow. So that's why she had to make tiers out of the dress, you know. She had 6 tiers out of it. And so I was really shocked when I got home. She had this parachute already made up into a dress, a wedding dress. But I think the military helped me a lot. Made a man out of me, you know, and made me responsible. And I give all the credit to the military to making me who I am, really, and my wife, those two, because they supported me, and the Army gave me the ability to look out for myself, you know, take care of myself and so forth. And then my wife supported me all the way. She never went against. We were married 61 years, and she died 11 years ago. But she never went against me in anything. She was always for me. And that made me feel good, you know. It made me know we're doing the right thing.